Welcome to Politics Done Right on KPFT. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Give me a call at 713-526-5738. That is 713-526-KPFT. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for spending this time with me. Shannon, how art thou doing today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well. It was an exciting day.
Yes, it was an exciting day. We had Comey and we had...
it's amazing how you lose track. You can't believe it all happened in one day.
Yes.
I get so many news updates throughout the day.
You know what, though? After reading his the little expose that he gave to the Senate and all of that, I have to say that I am sort of underwhelmed with his speech. It was good, but it wasn't. I wanted a little bit more.
Well, I know there's a lot he can't say.
That's
right?
true.
So we don't know what happened behind those closed doors.
You know what? You're right about that. We don't know what happened behind those closed doors. And it could be,
that could be the heart of it.
That could be the heart of it. You never know. But anyhow, I think it's going to be great. So how was your week, my friend?
Pretty good. I mean, it's nice that the rain is gone. That was crazy this weekend. But
we didn't get a whole lot of it in Kingwood, eh?
Well, fortunate for you.
Yeah.
It was flooding over here. Well, minor street flooding, but goodness.
I would have taken the flooding. You know why? Because, it saves me on the water bill. But, hey, you can't have all the luck in the world. But anyhow, we are going to have a wonderful show, aren't we?
We always do.
Yes, we always do. So, folks, do remember that this is a call-in show. The telephone number is 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. And Shannon was telling me about a special way of you asking questions as well. Shannon, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, there is a way where you can text your comment, it's more of like texting your question. If you don't want to go on the air, I'll be able to type it to Egberto. So text it to 832-953-5738. And I'll be able to give him that message, and he'll read it off the screen.
And, yeah, she'll just say, Berto, read that. And I'll say, yes, ma'am. Anyhow.
But, of course, the best way, we want to have you actually engaged in the conversation, whether you agree or disagree with the topic, because it's nice to have your voice on the air.
Absolutely. So do remember the telephone number is 713-526-5738. Anyhow, the title of the program today, and sometimes we hear the word Obamacare or the ACA Affordable Care Act or the American Health Care Act ad nauseum, but I tell you what, this is rather important here. The title of the show today is going to be Both Russia and Obamacare Sabotage Laying the Path for Trumpcare. And people are like, what? Yes, I really do believe that that what we heard on Russia or on infatuation with the Russia story and what I call the Obamacare sabotage could actually bring Trumpcare to fruition. I wrote a post on that, which is going to be on Daily Kos on Sunday. But anyhow, folks, everybody seemed to believe that Trumpcare is dead. The reality is the Russia scandal and the Obamacare sabotage created a pathway for passage in order for Republicans to provide their wealthy benefactors the tax cuts they promise. They must get the money from somewhere. The only place they can really get the money to support the tax cuts that they want is to pass Trumpcare, because Obamacare is a pot of gold. Obamacare was a wealth transfer engine that we don't when it was being passed, nobody really wanted to say that, but it was a correct type of wealth transfer that we have in this country, and that was Obamacare. I mean, people don't get it, but if you take a look at how it taxed capital gains and how it taxed these other things to pay for the indigent, to pay for the Medicare expansion and so forth, it was the right thing to do because of the defect within capitalism, and Obamacare mitigated some of that. But anyhow, it is imperative that we do not get so engulfed in the Russia scandal that we fail to realize that the wheels are still turning in both the House and the Senate to undermine working class America. Not poor America, not Black America, not Latino America, not white America. The current plans are to undermine working class America, comprising everybody that works for a living, works hard for a living. So folks, we are on the same team. If you are listening to my voice here, unless you have your own jet, unless you have your own multi-market huge company, I'm not talking about somebody who owns the sandwich shop. I'm not talking about somebody who owns the gym, somebody who owns, have a couple hundred employees. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the very, very small percentage of people that are currently pilfering middle class, working class America, poor America, all of us, the vast majority of us. But before we get to the program, I want to remind all our listeners that KPFT is a bastion of intelligent voices and programs. As a political activist myself, my favorites are The Monitor with
Mark Babawi. That's every Monday at 7 p.m.
And we have Think Wing Radio with Mike
Honig. That is every Monday also at 9 p.m. though.
And we have Partisan Gridlock with
Jeff Berg every Friday at 3 p.m.
And of course, there's Open Journal with
Marlo Blue and Dwayne Bradley and quite a talented crew.
Absolutely so. And of course, there's Jazz Latino.
And of course, that one is weekdays at 8 a.m.
Oh, did I come in a little too quickly?
Well, we want to make sure that people have the details.
Yes, we do. And of course, there's Jazz Latino, Afro-Cuban Latin Jazz, and it's very best hosted by
Juan Flores. That's on Mondays at 10 p.m. That used to come right after your show.
Yes.
When it used to be on Mondays.
Yes. And then now we have The Human Condition at 3 p.m., followed by the Free Minstrel Show with Don and Dwayne at 4 p.m. on Fridays on the KPFT HD3 side. Folks, check out our full schedule at kpft.org, where you can find the programming from music to politics to medicine to the eclectic KPFT's listener-supported public community radio station. So please remember that. If you like what you hear, visit kpft.org and ensure we remain a strong, viable community radio station that provides news, programming, and information not influenced by the corporate.
Talkracy.
There you go. The KPFT 90.1. This is KPFT 90.1 FM. Houston, we want to hear your voice. We want to hear your thoughts. This is your program. So, folks, do remember that. This is your program. Before I get into the blog of the week, though, I want to make a quick silent plea here and tell you folks that I think in a couple weeks we're going to be starting the fund drive. Actually, I said a couple weeks. Actually, it's next week that we start.
It is next week.
Our fund drive, or what is it called? Or summer fund drive, I believe. Or,
Summer Sizzle.
Yeah, summer sizzle fund drive. But guess what? We can cut that short if people just start going to kpft.org and start donating online during the show. So if you go to kpft.org now, just click on that button, that donate button. It'll add up the tally for our show, Politics Done Right.
And if we raise more than 8,000, every 8,000 we do raise, it will shave off a day.
A day from the pledge drive. So, I mean, what we're trying to do
that's very encouraging.
Yes, it is.
So if you enjoy hearing the programming, you tune in. To gain information, please do your part.
Yes, so we ask that you do that. Remember, the other side have the Cokes. We only have you. But you know what? We love to have you because you are the people. You are the masses. You are the ones that we can relate to. But anyway, folks, you can also text 4144 and type in KPFT and make your donation that way. Anyhow, do you know what time it is?
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Okay, so what is the blog post going to be about today? The name of the blog post is Obamacare is in danger of laying the path for Trumpcare. And we really mean that. Everybody believes the Republican agenda is at best paused because of Donald Trump's Russia scandal. Where Republicans are concerned, one should never make that assumption. The truth is, Republicans know how to win. Remember how dead Trumpcare was? Then suddenly they revived it. Congresspersons were willing to contort themselves into pretzels to find a reason to change their vote in the affirmative. And Republicans rebirthed Trumpcare. And now it sits in the Senate. Before I continue, everybody's sitting down in the Senate say, oh, but it's in the Senate, it'll never pass. Many Republicans and most Democrats in the Senate seem sure that Trumpcare is dead in the Senate. The surety is misplaced, or that surety is misplaced. Republicans will lose in 2018 if they appear to have done nothing to pass, or appear to have done nothing, pass no legislation. They may lose if they pass the draconian Trumpcare bill. But not so fast. Not so fast, my friends. Obamacare is in trouble in many places. Donald Trump and his administration continue to sabotage the law. Here's what they said at Kaiser. Since January 20, the Trump administration has already acted to depress enrollment in Affordable Care Act plans, has instructed the IRS to back off enforcement of the requirement that most people have health insurance or pay a penalty, and threatened to withhold billions of dollars owed to insurance companies. All of those actions make it more difficult for insurers to enroll the healthy people needed to offset the costs of the sick, who make it a priority to have coverage. The president himself has made his strategy clear in interviews and tweets. The Democrats will make a deal with me on health care as soon as Obamacare folds. Not long, Trump tweeted March 28th. Do not worry, we are in very good shape. That's what he said. But folks, the individual insurance market is not in such good shape at all. It is doubtful Democrats will make a deal now, but 2018 will be a tipping point for Obamacare. The instability Trump and his administration caused are creating an excuse for insurance companies to leave the Obamacare marketplace. Some people will be forced to shop for insurance on the individual market, which means they get no subsidies. Remember, to get subsidies, you have to be a part of the marketplace. Otherwise, no subsidies. No subsidies. Most will be priced out of the health insurance altogether. And this is continuing with what Kaiser says. A growing number of insurers are asking for double-digit premium increases or deciding to leave the market altogether. In the latest announcement, Anthem said Tuesday that it was pulling out of the Ohio marketplace, where it serves more than 10,000 customers next year. And while most analysts say the market probably would eventually rebound in the short term, things could get messy. Is the administration doing what it needs to do to stabilize the market? No, it's not. No, they're doing the opposite, said Kevin Conahan, CEO of Insurance Exchange Program during the Obamacare administration. Trump's biggest weapon by far is refusing to reimburse insurance companies for billions of dollars in payments the law requires them to make to help policyholders with incomes up to 250% of the federal poverty level, about $30,000 a year, at $61,000 a year for family of four, afford their deductibles and other out-of-pocket payments. These cost-sharing subsidies are being challenged in an ongoing lawsuit filed by the Republican House members against Health and Human Services in 2014, and Trump can effectively end them at any time by simply dropping the suit. Folks, the individual market is here to stay in the long run, okay? So don't think it's not going to be here. It's here to stay. It's here to stay. The short-term chaos is designed to disrupt the market to reinstate the very profitable predatory type health insurance policies with little to no protections. Under this scenario, healthy people will likely find fairly competitive price health insurance. People with pre-existing condition, though, may find affordable insurance with exclusions of their pre-existing condition. In other words, if you had a heart attack, they'll say, yeah, we'll cover everything except anything having to do with your heart. Of course, if you have some sort of cardiovascular problem, they'll find some way to make that a part of the exclusion of your heart. So don't buy into the crap, folks. Don't listen to them say, oh, we'll be able to have cheaper insurance because they can write all kinds of insurance now. No, that's not the case. Otherwise, they will be priced out of health insurance altogether. People with these pre-existing conditions will be priced out of the market. That is a fact. And by the way, risk pools do not work. We were a part of it with my wife because my wife has a chronic disease called lupus. They don't work. They're very expensive and they give you very little coverage. Otherwise, they will be priced out of the market, folks. Older people can forget about it. Older people simply will not be able to afford insurance. Period. Punto final. No lo van a poder conseguir. Period. Now, Democrats have not done enough to prepare Americans for the spikes and disruption they will see in 2018 and beyond. And Republicans are very, very effective in false counter-narratives. So it will be no surprise that the combination of Trump's Russia scandal monopolizing most news media and Republican propensity to lie effectively will ultimately cast the blame on Obamacare and Democrats. Get ready, folks. The message is going to change. Remember what's going to happen in October and September. They're going to start getting the new prices for healthcare. All Americans are going to start getting the new prices for healthcare. And what do you think the counter spin is going to be? We told you so. This is what's happening with Obamacare. Are Democrats preparing Americans to telling them, hey, your prices are going up and it's because your president is sabotaging the healthcare bill? Do we see any think tanks? Do we see a whole bunch of third-party organization putting out that narrative on TV? I see a lot of narratives on TV, commercials on cable news saying, Obamacare is bad, support your president. These third-party groups are doing what they have to do to start teaching their viewers what's going on. But the left, they're not out there telling people, hey, this is what's going to happen. And when it happens, it's not going to be the fault of the Democrats. It's not going to be the fault of progressives. It will be the fault of the president. I don't see those commercials out there. I don't see those ads out there. We are not doing the job of informing the base to let them know what is going wrong. And instead, the opportunity is being laid out there for the narrative to say, the increases that you are getting are the fault of Obamacare. The increases that you're getting is the fault of then the Democrats. Folks, when will we learn to play the game? Chris Hayes said what a few progressives have been saying for months now about the Russia story distracting from issues that are more immediately impactful to middle-class America. This is what he said. I think there is a case to be made that Russia right now is helping the Senate pass a healthcare bill, Chris Hayes said. I mean this totally, entirely, Chris Hayes continued. They would rather do this in secret with no public scrutiny, with no coverage, which is what they're doing, and try to flip out a bill in 48 hours and vote on it. And that actually, you say they don't want to be talking about it. They would rather talk about this than the healthcare bill. They would rather talk about Russia than the healthcare bill while they're working in the background, doing whatever they have to do. They're willing to take a lot of crap from the news media and from the left for a few days because the counter narrative is being prepared. The counter narrative is being prepared. Obamacare is in crisis for 2018 because of uncertainty and Trump sabotage. Make no mistake. And it is getting little coverage. Democrats and progressives need to drive the correct narrative. They need to do it now. They need to do it now. Why do they need to do it now? It takes a long time to categorize these things into people's head. They have to be doing it day in, day out. Trump is sabotaging Obamacare. That's why your prices are going to be high. Trump is sabotaging Obamacare. That's why your prices are going to be high. He's doing this. He's doing that. And point it out to people day in, day out. Bloggers at Daily Kos should be doing that. Bloggers at citizen.org should be doing that. Bloggers everywhere should have that narrative out there so that when the shock comes, Americans know where the blame belongs. Right now, that is not being done effectively. Obamacare is not failing because of that, folks. It's failing because of what the administration is doing. Obamacare is not failing. The Trump administration is killing it. We need to see these stories multiple times a day. You know what, folks? Russia is not going to be the story in 2018, folks. It's not going to be Russia. You know why it's not going to be Russia? Because it's going to be where people feel pain. It is when that person gets up in the morning and see the bill. When they see, oh my God, this year I won't be able to have health care. Even though Obamacare seems to be still alive, I no longer can afford it. Not because Obamacare is failing, but because the president sabotaged it, but most people won't see that. Folks, this is just a warning. This is just a plea. This is someone here begging that we get out there and give the proper narrative to what is going on. It is so important that we do so. Folks, this is a call-in show. The telephone number is 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. It looks like we lost two callers that came in for some reason. Please call back if we dropped you. We're very sorry about that. Call back in 713-526-5738. I'm starting to take calls. Lines are open. Let's start with John. Why it won't pass. Talk to me, John.
Yeah, how you doing, Egberto? Good afternoon.
Great, sir. Come on in.
Okay. As far as sabotage and all this stuff, I really think you're not following the news or something, because, I mean, of course, they're not, these stories aren't on cable, but, I mean, it's all over the Internet. And in fact, the polling changed from March, where a majority of people, a slim majority, I think it was 49, 48, thought that Trump thought that essentially that Obamacare was dying on its own, to where a couple months later, recently, you see completely different numbers. It's more like 60-35 now. So I mean, people are aware of what's going on. I mean, you can make a point that it's not being covered enough, and that may be a valid point. But I mean, what it essentially you have to fight on two fronts. The one front is trying to fight against the AHCA passing, and then on the actual sabotage front, that's a much harder fight. I mean, in fact, you can. It's almost impossible. I mean, because how hard is it to change Trump? I mean, I remember we had a conversation about this about 2 months ago on your Saturday show, and you were saying that essentially this is all going to be done, not in the public, and not, it was just not going to be out there. It's just going to be kind of like, sprung at the last minute, and that's not happening at all. I said just the opposite. I said, no, Trump's been talking about this. He's going to continue to talk about this. He did talk about this yesterday in his speech in Ohio about victims of Obamacare. So, I mean, this false narrative, I mean, I agree with you on the actual substance. I mean, I don't want to see this pass. But how can you stop his sabotage? I guess you can write to the White House and try to call the White House, but essentially this is Trump's call. I mean,
Right.
and you were talking about price.
Let me ask you to hold 1 second, folks, because it seems like we're having some sort of phone problems. Folks, call 713-526-5738. We just had 3 people drop off again. 713, I think there was a Steve person that called in and some others. Call 713-526-5738. We'll try to make sure you stay on and come to you as quickly as possible. But again, we have all the lines are open. And I don't know why some dropping occurred. But let me tell you, John, where I want to come from. I understand what you're saying. And let me first take up the first thing that you said as far as not watching the news, right? No, I actually watch the news, and I what I do is comparative analysis of what is showing up from the right and what's showing up from the left, and what people are seeing. I understand what a lot of these polls are saying with regards to whether what people believe or not. And what I also know from experience is that people's mind when the bill comes are very malleable. I don't know if you remember the crash that occurred when the first narrative that came out with Obamacare, when the computers started to fail. And the Republicans were perfectly ready for the narrative that really hit it pretty hard. Now, my contention is as follows. I think, and I am not looking at static numbers. In other words, you're absolutely correct with where Obamacare has reached. Okay, as far as it's now positive in the viewpoint. It is now positive because people don't have their bills yet. I am saying we have to be prepared for when those bills show up. And those bills are showing up in September and October, my friend. And I want to be ready for that. And you can't be ready when it occurs. You have to do what Republicans are very good at doing, and that is preempting things and making sure that you get that across. Not only that, I don't know if you listened to my blog where I said there are a lot of people that are going to benefit, that going to seem to benefit, because when they come and they see that these particular bills are pretty high and they can't afford it, and a new company comes in, and that new company that comes in gives them a policy half the price, but when you check the fine print, it covers nothing. Not everybody's going to be like you reading the fine print. They're not going to see it. And that is my contention. We have so much work to do, and I'm saying we're not doing it. If I go to the Daily Kos right now and look at the recommended list, I'm on the recommended list right now, but the story that I have on the recommended list is this story. But the other 10 stories on the recommended list all have to do with just Russia. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of narrative I'm talking about, my brother.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to think about why that is. I mean, and I know that we've had this argument before about you essentially think that our foundations are going to save us, and I'm much more skeptical about that. And I think that the public in general is much more skeptical that our institutions are going to save us. I mean, because look what's happened so far. I mean, they fired Comey.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad Mueller is going, but I mean, I don't really know if he's going to be a honest broker on this. I mean, most people think he is. I'm not so sure.
No.
I mean,
I don't.
So my point is,
yes, sir,
is that people are concerned about I mean, you're talking about things that pass the Senate and things that pass the House. I mean, I think a lot of people are talking about a fundamental breakdown of our democratic society.
I
and
agree
this is
with
what
that.
Trump wants.
Yes.
Trump wants that. So, I mean, if you have a fundamental breakdown of democratic principles, I mean, what does it matter? I mean,
John, I want to take that up.
You can just abolish the House
John,
and the Senate.
so
that's why people are so concerned about Russia, and it's a valid
John,
concern.
I agree with that part. Let me put you on hold. I'm not going to let you go because I want to come back to that, but there are other callers I want to get to. So I'm going to throw you on hold, and then I'm going to pick up Chris on Comey, and then we'll go to Lerone and Larry. Let's go, Chris. Line number 2.
Yeah, so how you doing, Berto?
I'm doing fine, sir.
Okay, what I wanted to say was this. I was watching the Comey hearings today, and one thing I think that the Democrats are going to end up doing is I hope they don't really fall into this trap of Russia, because I fundamentally believe that Russia is a trap. The reason why I say that is because it's diverting attention from other issues, the issues such as jobs,
Right.
Issues such as the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare. So what they're doing is, at the end of the day, it's going to end up coming out that even though we may not like the fact that Trump was fired, Comey,
right.
he more than likely had the right to do it. So I want the Democrats to be careful in chasing this.
Chris,
they call this.
Chris, you are so, in my humble opinion, and John doesn't completely agree with this, but in my humble opinion, I think you're absolutely right. And let me give an example. If you take a look at how the Comey speech spoke, the Comey hearing started today. We had the head of the chairman of the Senate said something simple. He asked Comey a list of questions. Did Trump pressure you? No. Did Trump and Comey answered no. Did Trump try to get you to do something you were not supposed to do? He answered no. Did Trump collude with Russia? At the time that I was there was no evidence to that. So what the chairman of the group, I don't remember his name, did was went through a list of items, and in effect, Comey really absolved Trump. Now, but Trump looked bad, okay, because Trump looked like he was just skirting the law. There was one thing that didn't look very good, and it was when they spoke about the dossier. They asked him about the dossier. He said, "I can only speak about that in private, in the private setting that they were going to have." So immediately the chairman changed the subject, which says, "Okay, I knew he was going to say no for all of these. Since he didn't quite say no for that, I'll change the subject." So you're right, and Professor Dershowitz also agrees with what I'm saying as far as I think Trump would look kind of bad in all of this, or real bad, but I think Trump is here to stay. That's my
right. That's what I'm saying. So my thing is, how can President Trump look worse? I mean, he already he ran, and he can't look any worse than when he ran.
And not only that, my friend, and he won with a negative approval rate. So what I'm trying to tell people is, forget about poll numbers for Trump. There is a fundamental change in this country, which they hate institutions. The institutions have failed them so much thus far that they are willing to hold their nose and vote for Trump. What I'm saying is, we have to protect the institutions. We have to go ahead and show that the damage is occurring not from institutionally, but for those who are coming in to wreck the institutions. And also we have to bring up these other issues. Don't you agree?
Yes, I do. And my final point is, Democrats need to focus on 2018. You need to focus on the midterm. Because the longer you chase this Russia story, the farther and farther you're going to get behind when it comes to the midterms. And that's where you restore the faith in the institutions.
Right.
Will be in the midterms. But hey, you got a great show. Want to thank y'all listening all the time. So
let me tell you, Chris, I appreciate your listenership, and I have one ask to you, and that is, as you listen, share. In other words, we are on Facebook Live and everywhere else. If you find us, share the story, and also let your friends know that there is a progressive station in this city that covers actually we cover the entire country, but in this city, so that they can get some good information, not necessarily seen on regular TV. So I appreciate your call, sir.
All right, thank you.
You have a wonderful day. Okay, Lauren, I'm going to be coming to you next, but Shannon told me I had to take a hard break, so I'm taking a hard break, and we'll be right back to you.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3:33 in the afternoon. It's a warm, sunny day today, currently 88. Low humidity for the Houston area, around 40%. Mostly clear tonight with a low around 70. And sunny skies for Friday with a few afternoon clouds, high near 91. And there's an air quality alert until Friday afternoon. That means atmospheric conditions are expected to be favorable for producing high levels of ozone pollution in the Houston, Galveston, and surrounding areas, including Brazoria County. And let's take a brief look at our roadways on the East Freeway outbound at Waco. There's road debris affecting the right lane. There's free frontage road lanes blocked along the East Freeway outbound at Cavalcade. And there's an accident cleared from the Southwest Freeway inbound at Spur 527 that leads to Midtown and Downtown. Traffic's backed up to Westland. And on the Gulf Freeway outbound at West Dallas, a disabled heavy truck is blocking the left lane. Traffic is slow to Little York. And on the East Freeway inbound at Monmouth, there's a disabled vehicle affecting the entrance ramp. That's Look Your Houston area weather and traffic. I'm Shannon McCurchie, and you're listening to KPFT Houston 90.1. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you very much. Before I go to Laron, and by the way, line 2 is ringing as well. Before I go to Laron, I want to address something on Facebook Live because Patricia Day Galani said, and it's what she said is very important. She said, so if you think he is here to stay, why are we resisting anyway? Let me tell you why, Patricia, because we are not in this for the personality. We are not, I mean, yes, we fight against Trump, but we're not in this for Trump proper. Trump is just one figurehead in the whole picture. We're in for societal change. We're in for true political change. And it's more than just Trump. Okay, Trump is just the instantiation of everything that is bad in our current politics. So what we want to do is undercut Trump. We want to go from the congressman, the senator, both local, meaning statewide, local politicians, as well as Trump. Whether Trump remains president or not, for me, really doesn't matter. I am not vested in Donald Trump's removal. I'm vested in what is good for working class America. And that means putting the pressure on Trump. Trump will not get away with doing anything unless Congress goes with him, unless Congress and the Senate goes with him. That's where we have control. We have control in Congress in 2018. We can when these guys start to see that people are really activated, they will start making that change. Yes, some of them will say we don't care because we just want to pass this to get people up. But if we come back in 2018, we can reverse anything that they've done in 2017. We can reverse anything in 2019 that they've done in 2018. Okay? So that is our goal. We must continue to resist. Period. We have to resist. We must come out against all these bad things, but we must remember to keep our eye on the ball. Trump is a little potato. He's a little dumb potato, if you will, and I don't like to call names, but that just slipped out. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's go to línea número 3, Laron. Come on in, Laron. How are you doing today?
Hey, bud. How you doing? It's
Great,
been impossible getting a hold of you. I left my name and number because I lost your information, your email and everything.
I'm so sorry, my friend.
It's been a job getting to you. Now, I had a very interesting conversation. As I told you, I'm a retired photojournalist.
Yes, sir.
In the Air Force, I was military intelligence. I worked when I got out, I worked as a special soldier for 10 years. Now, I ran across, there's a upper crust assisted living place here. He's in his 80s. He's a retired CIA agent. Had a very good conversation. Young lady I know works out there. So anyway, he said what upset him about today is what happened with the Iran-Contra hearing. Not that it happened. The fact that they did not have a problem recruiting agents to work for them that put President Reagan, loyalty to President Reagan, and loyalty all enough before country. You see the same thing happening here. Now, he went further. He said they're making a big deal out of these people being Russians that was in the White House. Yes, they're diplomats, true enough, but it's been confirmed by Homeland Security, by the CIA, by the NSA. These people are spies. They are trained, hardcore spies, and Donald Trump acts inappropriately with them, giving them information that was classified as secret, some top secret, to spies. And for some reason, I'm watching the hearing today, not one Democrat brought this up.
You know,
the Democratic Party, like you said, they have no huge problem getting out the message. Now, during Watergate, I did not know this. The Democratic Party put together an intelligence force to gather information. There was Barbara Jordan ahead of it, some other people, and they disbanded that after Watergate.
Right.
And it hasn't been around since, and that's something I can't understand.
You know, you're so right, and you know, not to hit up Democrats, but we have to, right? Because it is almost like the fighting spirit is so lousy. In other words, it is so much that you let go. And I mean, what you just said, I was so upset with how passive it all went and how little got done. I didn't even think about what you just said. I didn't even think about how comes
really upset you. I talked to one of Al Green's people here in Houston.
Yes, sir.
I talked about some things. The only answers I got out of her is, I don't know. I said, young lady, You've been in law school. You work for a congressman. You have no information whatsoever.
Right.
I said, that ought to scare the hell out of you.
Right. Yeah, well, let me tell you something, Laron. We're back to only about 15 minutes worth of this call now, so I need to start getting to some people.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
Let me just
I left my name and number with you, the lady that helps you.
Yes.
Give me a call because I got a lot to talk to you about.
Look, I appreciate it, Laron, and I'll take the number. Look, as soon as I leave this studio, I am jumping on a plane to Baltimore, so you won't hear from me right away. But
next week will be better.
Right, that's what. So next week you'll hear from me, okay, my friend?
All righty. Take care now.
Look, you have a wonderful day, and thank you so kindly for calling. Let's go to Larry on line number 4. Larry, come on in, my friend. And by the way, folks, we still have open line 713-526-5738. Come on, Larry.
Yeah, you're always complaining about people making money and being successful. How much money am I allowed to make?
This guy's a horrible person.
Mm-hmm. Say that again, sir.
You're always complaining about people making money, being successful, being rich. How much money am I allowed to make?
Let me first tell you, Larry, I want you to make as much money as you possibly can. Let me tell you this. I am a free enterprise person who believe that those people who can go out there and make money should go out there and make as much money as they can. Here is the caveat, and there's no limit to what you can make. Here is the caveat. I want those people who make a lot of money to realize that it's not solely on what they've done that allowed them to make the money, okay? I want them to realize, Larry, what do you do, Larry? I'm just curious because I want to use you as an example.
I own a used car lot.
Excellent. So you are a owner of a business. You are a good guy who goes out there and goes in and makes money. And depending on how good you do, you may make $1 million one year and you may make $500,000 next year and whatever. I want you to keep as much of that as you can, but I want you to remember one thing, Larry. I want you to remember that your success isn't solely based on what you've done. Your success.
That is a very untrue statement.
Really? Tell me how it's untrue, sir.
Tell me me working hard is not the reason why I'm successful. Tell me the reason why.
Let me first. Please don't do that. Let's have a real conversation because I know exactly where you're coming from, but we have to have a real conversation. You've earned what you've earned based on the amount of work that you've done. What I'm saying is you would not have been able to have that work had society not created the platform where you could do as much work as you could. And what I'm saying is the investment that society has made in you, you must pay back some as well. That's all I'm saying. It has nothing to do with not believing that you should make your money at all. What we have, however, is a defect in capitalism that skews money to those with capital, that skews money a certain way. And all I'm saying, and the society works perfectly, is there are ways to mitigate it. And that's what we've done. Now, if you come out and say, I just want to hold on to everything, then that is where
When did I say that?
I didn't say that you said that, sir.
The thing is,
I didn't say that you said that.
Let me
yes, go ahead, real quick.
Rich people pay taxes.
Yes, they do.
Rich people pay a lot of taxes.
Yes, they do.
Middle class pay taxes.
Yes.
Who's not paying? There's like 40% of the population in this country that aren't paying a dime.
Sir, that's not true at all.
What do you mean that's not true? It's not true because you're saying it?
No, sir, it's not true because I have the data to back it up.
All right, then what
you have to let me
population is not paying taxes on the bottom?
At the bottom, very little. Every single.
Do
you want to hear the facts or not?
Lies all over the
okay,
place
sir,
now.
stop. Let me ask you to listen.
No, you stop. You got to be honest, man.
No, you're wrong. Here's how they make the mistake.
There's some chick on welfare. Every time she pushes out a kid, she can't afford to have one.
Sir,
sir. She keeps getting more and more money.
Numbers
and
matter.
She's not paying a dime in taxes.
No, I'm going to have to let you go in a little bit, but I just want to make the folks know that numbers matter. And the numbers that you're putting, those are empirical. I mean, what you're saying are what you call very small percentage of people. It's a very small percentage of
40% of the
people.
population is not a small number.
That is not true at all. The
Then
truth
what
of the
is
matter
it?
is most
Tell
people
me
work.
what the number is.
I don't have the exact number, so I'm not going to lie to you.
Exactly.
But it's not that amount that you're saying. I'm saying it's.
How do you know that?
Because
you don't have the numbers in front of you.
I tell you what, I'll get you the numbers, but I got to go to other
I have
calls.
the numbers, but
40% is absolutely wrong, and if you try to get that across, you'd mean that you're lying to the population. Let's go to line number 2 with Justin. Come on in, Justin.
Sir?
Justin, yeah.
Hi.
Go ahead, sir, real quick.
It's just on that point you were making about, the governing institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with the Trump campaign, one of the biggest issues was, like, immigration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what that shows is, like, this country, like, there's no long-term future for it. It's going to balkanize in the same way that Yugoslavia balkanized,
right,
and all those countries in that area. Because, like we're frankly, and I don't mean this in a positive way, we're frankly too diverse. So people have different cultural values,
mm-hmm,
and therefore different values in general. There's no commonality to.
I understand what you're saying, sir.
Population.
I understand what you're saying, sir. This is a great experiment, and the thing about it is, I categorically disagree with what you're saying. However, that diversity is somehow a problem. We have allowed diversity to be used as a problem. I mean, every person in this city loves to go and have some Thai food, some Mexican food, some Cuban food, and all of that. So intrinsically, folks are diverse, and not only that, folks like diversity. But what we have are charlatans who come out there and try to make diversity, like the caller who called before, try to make it seem like if most people don't pay taxes or so. They use those kind of a buzzwords to get the people. The reality is most people pay taxes, and most people, even some people on welfare, they may not pay taxes, but they're also responsible for the economic activity with their existence for money to circulate. But going through that entire explanation takes too much time in the middle of this discussion. So I'm going to have a show on that in its entirety to show people that their reality is not what they've been told by the right, which is trying to foment hate, but what I'm saying. I got to go, Justin. I really appreciate your call, but Shannon tells me I have a hard fix. And for the callers that are coming in after, we're going to have to do it in like 30 to 60 seconds each. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Egberto, and good afternoon once again. It is currently 89 degrees, warm, sunny day today with low humidity, thank goodness, and that's what is, luckily, the humidity has gone down from yesterday, so that is fortunate, but it's going to be hot. Mostly clear tonight with a low around 70, and sunny Friday with a few clouds and a high near 91. And there's that air quality alert until Friday afternoon around 2 p.m. That means the conditions are favorable to produce high levels of ozone pollution. That's for the Houston, Galveston, and our greater Houston area. So just try to limit those outdoor activities and try to, cut down on how much you drive, but that is hard in this city. And let's take a brief look at our roadways. Speaking of cars, on the East Freeway outbound at Waco, there's road debris affecting the right lane. And on the Gulf Freeway outbound at West Dallas, a disabled heavy truck is blocking the left lane. Traffic is slow to cavalcade. And you're tapping on those brakes on the West Loop in both directions from Fornes up to Irvington. And a little on 288 outbound at Alameda, Genoa, the exit ramp is closed for pavement repair. That's backing up traffic to Old Spanish Trail. That's Look at Your Houston area weather and traffic. I'm Shannon McCurchie, and you're listening to KPFT Houston 90.1 Politics Done Right, and it's currently 3:48 in the afternoon.
Thank you so kindly, folks. We're going to have to limit everybody to about 30 to 45 seconds because of time and the lines are filled. But before I need to address Daniel Ledoux, Daniel, let me first tell you, I studied the Laffer curve. The Laffer curve is nothing but a laugh. If you have any doubt about it, take a look at what has occurred in Kansas. And Kansas finalists saw the light and they overrode the Governor Brownback's veto. And now they're raising taxes just like California did, whose economy took off like a jet after they got sensible, fiscally responsible types policy. Let's go to line number 3 with Pat. Pat, you got to be quick, my dear friend.
Hey, how you doing?
Great, Pat.
I heard something about these states in particular
that they've stopped allowing advertisement for the marketplace.
That is a true story. That is one of the sabotage methods that they're using.
And also in Texas, we are seeing advertisement for Trump's agenda or his insurance agenda. What can we do?
Let me tell you what you can do. You can do what we are doing, and that is resisting. Look for an indivisible group in your area, and we would have options for you. I mean, every week you're not gonna necessarily come up with a lot of stuff to do, but as long as we know how to reach you. So what I tell everybody, join an indivisible group, whether it's a local indivisible group in your area, because there are times that we're gonna have a mission for you to go ahead out there and do, and there's gonna be change. There's gonna be some short-term pain, but folks, we're gonna change. Pat, I gotta go because we have a lot more calls.
Not a problem.
All right.
Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you so kindly, Pat. Let's go to line number 4 with Jeff. Line number 4, Jeff. Come on in, Jeff.
Hi, good afternoon. I would like to rebut the gentleman, the used car lot owner that called in a few calls ago.
Yes,
where
sir.
He was arguing with you.
Right. Just before
what
you
he doesn't
rebut.
understand is the whole tax system is progressive and it's based on, quote, the wherewithal to pay.
Right.
That means if somebody is barely scraping by, making whatever the dollar amount is, $5,000 a year, $10,000 a year, they don't have the wherewithal to pay any taxes, so they don't have an obligation to pay income taxes, that is.
Absolutely.
But they do pay sales tax when they purchase things. Don't forget that.
Right.
So the gentleman's grossly uninformed.
You're absolutely right. Thank you so kindly, Jeff, for your call. Let's now go to line number, and Jeff, you keep listening, you keep calling, and let people know we exist. Okay, my friend?
I'll do that. I sure will. Thank you for being
sir. Let's go to line number 6 with Chris. Come on in, Chris. And before I get to you,
real quick, for Larry, number one,
yes,
he's not all into himself. If he has salesmen that are working for him, they're paid a commission. They should enjoy part of that. He couldn't do it without his sales purposes.
So true.
He couldn't do it without his detailers who keep his cars clean. You know, they should be treated fair and right. So his success is not dependent on just him. Try to do anything without anybody. You'll find yourself on an island starving. Secondly, we love diversity when it comes to getting things done. We love diversity when we need the Chinese to build a railroad. We love diversity when we need people to pick tobacco. We love diversity when we need them to pick lettuce. So it's a matter of diversity for convenience. I am so sick and tired of the hypocrisy of the right. I'm not a Democrat or either way. But, you know, as I said to a group, a think tank that I sat with, how about the truth? How about the truth that that Fox News prosecuted Obama every single day, but all of a sudden they're on a witch hunt when it comes to Trump? So, you know, let's just call it what it is and be straight and be right and be fair. And when you start talking out of the side of your mouth, you lose me and your argument is weak, you know? And so I told my group, look, have some integrity, okay? If you want to talk to me, you better come straight with integrity.
Chris?
Otherwise, you're dismissed.
Chris, thank you so kindly for those comments because they are very sensible. This is what we need to hear, and this is what you hear on this station. You have a wonderful day, my friend.
You too.
Okay, let's go to line number 2, Javier. But before I get to Javier, I just want to say one thing, and that is, Patricia Galani, thank you so kindly for the numbers that you provided to me. Listen, folks. Remember, Larry said 40% of people don't pay taxes. It turns out it is 96% of people who actually pay both sales taxes or federal income taxes or both. So the reality is most people are paying taxes. We just don't, there are things that we don't value. Okay, Javier, come on, talk to me.
Hey, mi hermano, ¿cómo estás?
Luchando con la vida como siempre. ¿Qué me cuentas, hermano?
Oh, man, you know, I just wanted to say about that guy that called, man. I'm sure a lot of the listeners felt the same way, how, like, infuriated, you know, that people say this thing, you know, like, especially when, like, half of the country, we're making 30,000 or less, you know.
Right.
And it's like, man, you know, like, how do we keep dividing each other all the time, you know? I'm sure I don't know how much he makes, but, you know, if he's not in that category, like, you know, because...
You know, let me tell you something, Javier. What's interesting with the young man that called Larry, right, is Larry think things are okay with him, okay? Let me tell you the truth. Larry is just one of the people that the right uses because the right is used by the 0.1%, not the 1%, the 0.1%. They are what I call those that are carrying the water for these guys. They live successfully good enough to carry the water against all of us. What we have to do is get smart. We have to stick together. And we have to forget about those folks who try to divide us on race and class and sex and all these different things. We got to get beyond that. And that is what I preach. I preach that when we can unite Appalachia, the ghettos, and the barrios as that is sort of, what is the word that I want to use? I forget the word that I want to use, but yes, that's stereotypical. The barrios, the ghettos, and Appalachia. We got to unite those folks. Once we unite those folks, they can't win the battle of morality, because it means we would have won. And that is
game over.
That is what they're trying to do. They want to have the Mexicans against the blacks, against the whites, against the sexism and all that. No, we're not going to buy it. We are going to stick together. Gotta go, Javier. Muchas gracias por llamar. Está bien, hermano.
Hey, thank you, brother, for all you do, man.
Gracias. Let's go to número 3. Line, Dr. Jones. Come on in, Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones, just real quick. What he has to say is this. We should enjoy diversity.
Yes.
It won't last. In the year 3020, we will only be one. Everybody will be homogeneous.
Thank you, sir.
Population diversity won't exist.
Absolutely so. Dr. Jones.
Biologically impossible.
Thank you, Jones.
And every organism and every species that procreates, they eventually homogenize.
Absolutely so. You are absolutely right, Dr. Jones. I got to go. I can take one more call. Take care, my friend. MOD, real quick.
Hey, guys. I think we're arguing a result, and the result, I think you already said earlier, is sort of contrived. You know, governments do serve a purpose when its populace is awake, or if they actually think for themselves.
Right.
So this Hegel dialectic has been around or planned since Cecil Rhodes' Round Table. The British said we can't do this anymore. We gotta do this by values and wants and needs and ideas. So this is a controlled agenda, and you know, this race baiting, diversity, LBJ, all that stuff is
30 seconds till outro.
It's not when another echelon is using it, as you mentioned a moment ago, as a tool to make us argue a result. And, you know,
MOD, I get the gist of your thing, but I have a hard stop now. But thank you so kindly for calling, my brother. Call a little bit earlier the next time. John, give me a 10-second closer, and I gotta go.
All right, good show. I just agree that with what the other callers are saying about taxes. Most people pay taxes. When you go buy toilet paper, you're paying taxes.
Thank you,
John. When you're buying shampoo, you're paying taxes. Soap,
Gotta
you're
go,
paying
John.
taxes. Rich or poor.
Thank you so kindly for calling. Folks, this is another edition of Politics Done Right. Thank you for having spent this time with me. This is Egberto Willis, Politics Done Right. Bye-bye.
You can personally reach. Thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. You can personally reach me by sending an email to egberto@politicsdoneright.com. Remember, Egberto is spelled E-G-B-E-R-T-O. Change starts with you. 90.1 KPFT gives you information not tainted by corporate interest. Please visit kpft.org and contribute. Let's ensure continued access to real information and news remain available to all. Again, thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right.